as UI UX professionals, it's our job to make sure that the users are deeply understood by everyone in the organization, and there are a variety of methods to do so. I talked a bit about user journey mapping, user personas, but today I'm going to be talking about empathy mapping. So what is an empathy map? According to NN Group, an empathy map is a collaborative visualization used to articulate what we know about a particular type of user. It externalizes knowledge about users in order to 1. Create a shared understanding of user needs, and 2. Aid in decision making. So all that is just words, but what does it actually look like in a diagram or visual? Here is an image of what an empathy map looks like, or at least the framework or the template. So in the center is the user, and you have 4 different quadrants: says, thinks, does, and feels. The says quadrant contains what the user normally says out loud, and some examples could be, I am a huge fan of the Singapore Airlines because they never let me down. Other examples could be, I want something fast but reliable. I think you get the point. The thinks quadrant captures whatever the user might be thinking throughout the entire experience. So what really helps when you're thinking about this is, what is the user most concerned about? What matters to the user? What are they thinking as they're going through the process? For example, this is really annoying. Or, am I dumb for not understanding this? So those are some thoughts that can be running through a user's mind whenever they're going through a certain process that you're trying to examine and really improve. The does quadrant encloses the actions that the user takes. So for example, if they're going through a process, maybe you're examining a person checking out at a self-order counter. So what are they doing? Are they refreshing the page multiple times? Are they repeatedly trying to scan their item? Are they looking at the promotions? Are they comparing prices? All these things are actions that the user is doing as they are going through the process. The feels quadrant is the user's emotional state. What really helps with this quadrant is to identify an emotion or feeling. For example, worried or impatient or uncertain. And with that emotion, you kind of elaborate a bit more on it. For example, for worried, they feel like they're doing something wrong. For impatient, the elaboration could be maybe because the page is loading too slowly. Just having a bit of elaboration to the emotion is really, really helpful and important. So what could an empathy map look like in real life? Here is an example. Maybe I'll put up 2 depending on what I can find, but it's very much in that square format with the quadrants and multiple post-it notes for each quadrant. So this is what an empathy map could look like in real life. So I've talked a bit about empathy maps, what it is, how to use it, but why should I use it? What is important and what is so special about an empathy map? I just want to say right off the bat that it's not to replace personas or the user journey map. I think every method in UX research has its own plus points, its own advantages, but what the empathy map does really well is to capture a holistic understanding of who the persona is, because you're really diving deep into what they say, what they think, what they do, and what they feel. It's also a really easy way to communicate what a user persona is like to someone else who's just trying to understand the target audience. It's also really useful in helping others have a clear understanding of who the user persona is and what are some of the things that they need to look out for when they're designing or implementing something for this user. It's also really helpful in making sure that you are collecting data from the target audience to begin with. For example, to fill in the quadrants, you need to have had some kind of research or interviews with these users. So an empathy map really ensures that you are staying on that track. So in conclusion, as the name suggests, empathy maps really help you empathize with the user, which is so important as a UI UX designer. It removes bias from our designs and also helps all the team members in the design team align on the user persona understanding. It's also really useful in uncovering the needs of the user and also to understand a bit more about what drives their behaviors. So that's all for this video on introduction to empathy mapping. I hope it was really useful, and I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has recently joined the Nomademy family. You are officially a nomad. And I also do want to say that we recently revised the branding for Nomademy, and I'm thinking of having a dedicated motion graphic video to talk a bit about the branding. So you can look forward to that. And as I always say, there are a lot of things coming up for Nomademy, so I hope you stay tuned and have a great day wherever you are. Bye!